Awesome. Super excited to have you guys here and to just share with you this awesome journey that quite a few of us have been on. It is so simple what we are doing, and this community that we have found and have really just fostered this culture of love and acceptance and succeeding wherever you want to succeed at. We're a little bit different probably than anything else you've seen. And we're just going to share a little bit of that with you tonight. We're going to share a few stories with you tonight and just kind of give you a good feel for what we're doing. What are we up to? Why are we so excited to be able to share this in Australia? And what's it mean for you? So our names are Sean and Kim Mclean. We're from beautiful North Florida. And by North Florida,
if you can't tell.
If you think of the palm trees in the ocean, Florida, well, that's not us. We're alligators and swamps and cow fields and horses. That's us. So beautiful North Florida. And you saw Mark jump on here earlier, guys, that if it wasn't for Mark and a couple other people, we had a couple friends that reached out to us. They really didn't know our situation, our personal, what was going on in the car and at home, I like to say, because out and in public, everything was wonderful. Probably the most positive people you'll ever run into. And we just love to be positive and love on people and smile and just share the love is what we say. But to be honest with you, at home, things kind of wasn't real happy. It took me about a year to learn to say the word depression, because I just always said I was in a funk. And I had a friend reach out to me and shared this happy coffee, not having a clue about our actual situation. I jumped on a Zoom call much like this, heard Mark Willison's story, and I knew Mark, and I was like, man, I got to find out more information. I didn't know what Mark had just went through either. And so long story short, dude, the very first cup of happy coffee that I had, like, punched me right in the face. Now, I know most people don't get that reaction right off the bat, and Kim's story is directly opposite of mine. But what I can tell you is that I got me back, and Kim got her husband back, and our kids got their father back. And it took
He's
about
still Scott-Irish. Don't get that mistaken.
I'm not out of the woods, but it just let the wind shift direction, and I would explode. Like, I was not in a good place. I can tell you that without going into all the details of that story. But for me, it was really about day number 5. It was actually Thanksgiving morning, and totally, without going into that whole episode of what happened that day, it was 100% confirmation that 20 minutes after drinking this coffee, I knew for a fact my brain chemistry was different, and my physiology was different, and I was a different person. I was happier, and I could just deal with things different. And out of that, that was Thursday morning. Actually, Kim and I had like a moment. Not, it's just one of those couples moments, right? And
not happy couples moment.
When I had my coffee, it changed everything. And I'm sparing you the details, but like any good husband, after having that coffee and having my mindset changed, I didn't go and say anything to Kim. Actually, let all of Friday go by, and then on Saturday, I said, hey, we need to talk. And I really just shared with her my experience of being on this coffee for 5 days. It totally changed me. We got up that Saturday morning, did a Facebook Live sharing what we found for us and the difference over that week. And out of that, we learned that there's a whole bunch of regular, awesome, normal people just like us that were hurting just like us, but they just weren't sharing it with people. And or they didn't know yet, and they weren't letting people know where they were. And out of that, we felt a real obligation to be able to share these products with people. And this dose combination, guys, it's where it's at. It's been about 31 months for us here in the States, and I haven't missed a day yet. By accident, one time we ran out of our order, and I did have to go 2 days without coffee, but I drove to the next town to meet somebody to get some because it made that big a difference in our life. So from there, we just started sharing out of our heart because we really felt like we found something to change us. We were kind of obligated to share with other people, and that led to building a big business, which led us to Australia and New Zealand. And here we are. So we're going to jump in here tonight and play this video right here. And it was up on my other screen. We were having so many problems with that Zoom, I had closed the window out. I'm glad you said that. Let me jump into this video and all the way over. There we go. You would think I'd know how to run my own computer by now. And then we're going to share a couple awesome stories with you guys. And
it's amazing, releasing the natural oxytocin in your body. What? That's unheard of. I'm telling you, it's a happy house. And you know what? Happy wife, happy life. It's all good. Happiness. Maybe the longest study in history. Harvard University has been studying happiness since 1938 in the ongoing Harvard study of adult development. It's been tracking the lives of over 700 men and women for the past 77 years, and it's one of the most, if not the most, detailed and lengthy studies on happiness ever. The results are staggering and shows that happiness is not necessarily what you think. More recently, another Harvard alum and one of the world's leading experts on happiness is proving that happiness is an advantage. In fact, his research shows that happiness fuels success, not the other way around. We live in a time where there are more books being written on the subject of happiness than in the history of book writing. All of these studies, books, and research all seem to be coming to the same conclusion, and that is that happiness is really about two things: social connectivity and chemicals, and how our brain creates emotions via its network of neurotransmitters to release the chemicals or hormones that make us feel happy. Modern science, as well as neuroscience, the study of the brain, have known for some time now what these chemicals and hormones are: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Let's call these our positive neurochemicals. When your brain releases one or more of these neurochemicals, you feel good. As humans, we're always looking for ways to turn on these happy chemicals. Introducing DOSE. DOSE is the way to a happier, healthier you. DOSE is led by the world's first nootropic-infused instant coffee, along with xanthocumol. Combined, they are capable of getting your brain to release all four of these positive neurochemicals at the same time. Imagine being able to elevate your mood, feel more connected, have longer lasting energy, and feel more focus and clarity. Well, now you can. It begins with one of the most unique coffees in the world today, Elevate Brew. It's a functional beverage that can replace your current coffee or be added to it. Either way, its nootropic formulation includes natural and botanical ingredients that will elevate your mood and help stimulate those positive neurochemicals. Next, our bioavailable xanthocumol has over 300 research articles showing so many benefits to the human body that they're calling it the master molecule. However, the biggest breakthrough from this molecule that comes from the hops plant is that it's the only natural ingredient on Earth that will tell your body to release its own oxytocin, commonly referred to as the hormone of happiness. These two incredible products combined is what we call DOSE. Now, for the first time ever, you can stimulate your neurotransmitters to release all four of the positive neurochemicals that will make you feel better, feel more socially connected, and most of all, elevate your happiness. So if you're ready to gain the happiness advantage and become more productive with a greater sense of well-being and elevate your life, get your dose of happiness today.
super awesome. Let's see, can I close? Got it.
Very cool, very cool. So there you have it. That is DOSE. So what we're going to do real quick is we are going to have a couple of people that are going to share their stories with you, and hope that you find some interesting and some great benefits that could possibly help you or that you're looking for. And then we're going to get back together after that and go over just a couple more things. So the first person that we have tonight is Janine Lewis. There she is. I saw her. Okay. Janine.
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you going? Hi. Welcome to beautiful winter time in Brisbane, Queensland. And you'd think this would be enough to keep us happy, but you know, we're human beings. I certainly do love living in Queensland. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story. I hope you can hear me all right. It's quite breezy by the water, but I'm actually being asked out to lunch today, so that's a good thing. That doesn't happen. But before I do, I just want to share. So really for the past 30 years, I have struggled every single month of my life. I can go 2.5 weeks. I can feel like I can climb Mount Everest. I'm a very positive, optimistic person. I've had an awful lot of struggles in my life that I've dealt with. I've pushed through. I've overcome. But for 1.5 weeks every month, I am flattened with anxiety, depression, terrible pain in my body. I would wake up at least 3 days of the month. I would have a severe headache that would leave me, all I could do, nothing could take it away, not Panadol and Nurofen together. And especially if I had that, well, I just needed to sleep. So I was sleeping pretty much most of my life. I felt very depressed because of that, because I have so many dreams and goals, and I'm an entrepreneur, and since my 20s I had such a passion. I really wanted to be able to live the dream. Even in my 20s I started my own business where I wanted to be able to be with my family. If I had children, I could work around my children. I want to be able to travel. And yeah, for 30 years I've been trying to achieve that, and without, pretty much without success. I've tried so many different products to help me feel better every month. Doctors, I've had surgery, which definitely made a difference to, certain female aspects. However, it did not get rid of those horrible hormonal headaches. I knew it was my hormones. I always felt my hormones were ruining my life, because it takes a heck of a lot of patience and understanding from, the men in my life. That's no easy task for anyone every single month, to have to deal with someone who goes into a depression. And it didn't matter what I tried. And I became a full-time office manager. A year ago, I left that job, mostly because, every month I was... What on earth possessed me to choose accounts? I have no idea, because it coincided with my monthly cycle. Bad news, very bad news. So I was under a lot of stress, and I felt, okay, I get it. Stress contributes to all these things. So let's reduce the stress. So I've traveled, I live in Queensland. I left my full-time job a year ago. And okay, the stress, reducing the stress. Stress is always there. It never goes away. It's part of life. It's part of living. As hard as I try to alleviate the stress and get rid of stress in my life, there's so many things that keep happening all the time. So my body was just reacting. So it all came to a bit of a head, I guess. I started, having left my full-time office management job, I actually had to leave my partner of 5 years back in Scotland, where he is happier. I wished we had been introduced to Happy Coffee over a year ago. Perhaps that would have helped him, because he was just so miserable. Imagine being miserable here. he had to return to his cold and wintry island doing crab fishing. So I had to deal with that a year ago as well. Say goodbye to my partner, leave my job, and so I decided to become self-employed again. And I just started my new business in January, doing facial massages again and selling natural skincare products, organizing social events. And as you all know, something happened in March that put a stop to that. And overnight, my plans, my dreams, my happiness, I started dancing. That's what made me feel really, really happy. That was releasing my endorphins and making me feel fantastic. And then all of a sudden I'm told, no, you're not allowed to go dancing. You're not allowed to do your facial massages. You're not allowed to have a social gathering. You're not allowed to go and visit your mother and father. You're not allowed to go visit your daughters. My social, my connection. I'm a social being. And in April was my hardest month. I just fell into a very deep depression in April. Plus, I'd been sleeping 10, 11 hours every night for months and months. And I kept thinking, how am I supposed to do a business when I can't get past sleeping 10, 11 hours every single night? And it was the day that I slept 13 hours, I felt solid, but it's obviously not solid sleep. Was the day that I got onto Facebook. I was in tears. I was just crying. I felt, I'm only 50 years of age. Here I am. I'm in pain. I can't wake up. I'm dragging myself through the day. I'm self-employed. I'm going to lose my home. What am I going to do? I got on Facebook, and coincidentally, I found the dose, and I found that product on the internet. But the very same afternoon, lovely friend Linda contacted me and said, hey, Janine, I think there's something you'd be really interested in seeing. And it was the very same product that I had researched earlier in the day. So I know, and by the time, and then I actually got onto a Zoom meeting, and I saw Steph talking, and I thought, this sounds exactly what I'm needing. I really need this. And by the time I got to Linda, who let me some dose, I felt like I was a drug addict. Just give it to me. I need it. I need this now. Please give me. And she was too busy talking to someone. I even made myself a cup of coffee in her house because I was just desperate to start this coffee. So to cut a long story short, in the last 2 months, I have gone from absolute feeling depressed and no hope to having 2 months, no period pain, no bad headaches, and no tiredness, sleeping all day, every day. I am sleeping 7.5 to 8 hours. I sleep so well. My sleep is amazing. I barely get up during the night, and I can't thank Linda, Steph, and my friend Peter, who actually lent me the money to be able to buy my first dose, because I had no money. So I'm super excited because I now want to share this with my family. I've got my mother, my 85-year-old mother is like, Janine, where's my Xanthomax? Where's my coffee? She's full of energy. She's going here, there, and everywhere, and she's not supposed to be. It's COVID, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, she's doing all her craft things. She's on fire. So I'm now excited. I have my brother who's been very ill for a very long time. I just want to help them now. So thank you so much.
That is so awesome, Janine. Thank you so much. You're right. A lot of people are going through a lot of stuff, especially the last few months. And it's so refreshing to hear that you found something that made that big an impact. Thank you for sharing that story.
Absolutely. We appreciate you very much.
So we're going to jump over now to California and get a guy in here. Mr. Bruce Gray, if you would unmute and share a little bit of your story.
Hey, Sean and Kim, thanks you guys. You're doing a great job of hosting there. Yay. Yeah, we've been around like you guys since early days of trying this happy coffee. And I guess the first time I tried it, I was one of those people that got a 15-minute woohoo and was really quite impressed with the product. And yeah, and now it's a couple of years later and I still get a great feeling every day. I've not taken a day off. I haven't run out. I make sure that there's plenty in the cupboard. Not going to run out, which is really cool. But, you know, one of the things I did right away was Jenny and I have really always been into health. We had no weight loss issue, so but man, we felt it, and I started to, because I love to look at ingredients and things like that. So I wondered what this Xanthamax was all about, and so the xanthahumol that's in Xanthamax, and there's a cocktail of ingredients that you cannot get in food. Who's ever been to the doctor and they said, oh, you can get everything in your food? Well, I don't think so. And so I looked at this Xanthamax stuff, and I'd never heard of that ingredient. I suggest that everybody goes to xanthahumol.com and do some reading, look at some of the studies there. We are very anti-cancer here. We hate cancer. And this product, I urge you to read up on its anti-cancer properties. And if you know anybody with issues, but even just as a preventative, it's a very, very powerful deal. It's an amazing product, and I just love it. I feel good every day taking this product, and we've loved sharing it. And now with some of the Aussies and Kiwis and Canadians, and it's starting to spread out around the world. So it's pretty exciting here. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you inviting me on here. Yay.
Thank you, Bruce. Yeah, guys, go check that site out. I think you'll find some real cool information there.
Awesome. So next we have Deborah. Deborah, are you on?
Deborah Spice.
There she is. Down here in the corner.
There she is. She
Hi,
moved.
hi guys. Nice to speak to you. Yeah, it's actually Spies. It's very confusing because it's actually South African. My father-in-law was South African, and yeah, but Spies will do. My story is a little bit different to everybody else's because I was my journey's been about a year now. I was actually going through a really depressed time, and I got diagnosed as manic depressive disorder, which was really disconcerting. It took about a year to kind of get to this point. My next treatment was actually going to be electric shock treatment, which I wasn't too happy about, but I was in a desperate state. Anyway, basically what happened, quick story, because you told me to do this in 4 to 5 minutes. So basically what happened was I collapsed. And I was rushed in for a CT scan, and this was what was discovered. I don't know if you can see that. That was from the top of my head. So that white bit was the actual tumor that they discovered, which is called a meningioma. And if I can just, okay, so that at the top there was the meningioma itself. If you can pick that up. Sorry, I'm not. Yeah. Anyway, and I was. Exactly a year, just over a few days over a year ago, that was the result of the removal of that meningioma. So I am very, very grateful and would like to sort of first and foremost say thank you to my God, because I'm a great believer in the Lord, and through a lot of prayer from people from all over the world, I believe that my recuperation is to where I am sitting today. And yeah, so I was trying to taper off all the medication. I was medicated to the absolute hilt. I didn't know whether I was coming or going, and I think that was probably, well, they say that was one of the main reasons why the meningioma wasn't initially diagnosed. Anyway, so cut a long story short, I've been battling to get off all these meds. I got down to one. I've got two that I got down to. The worst was one antidepressant that I have battled with. And unfortunately, the lower you go, the harder it is to deal with the brain zaps and also with the brain fog. So I had started going on to sort of tablet every second day, tablet every third day, tablet every fourth day. And by the fifth day, I was climbing the wall because I needed this tablet. So very, very nice friend of mine, Hilda, happened to pop round, and she said to me that she was starting this business with Happy Coffee. And I looked at her and I said to her, really? What's in it? So she said to me, no, it's 100% natural. So I said, really? So what's in it? So she said to me, she left me a couple of samples to try. And I said to her, okay, fine. As soon as I finished tapering off this medication, I'll give it a go. Anyway, I battled with the meds, and so I decided to open it up and put it into some liquid and have small portions every day rather than trying to do what I was doing. And lo and behold, to open it up and find out that there's these tiny little beads which you cannot crush. I mean, they are just horrible, absolutely horrible. And so that wasn't going to work. I stuck them in some water and they wouldn't dissolve. Somebody suggested I put lemon juice in it because you've got acids in your system, etc., etc. So I thought that didn't work either. Anyway, so I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll just take a clump of these things and swallow it. Anyway, I had such bad, dreadful acid reflux. I couldn't believe, from probably about 30 of these little bead things, that I could make me feel so awful. And the brain zaps and everything else still continued. Anyway, Hilda invited me to one of these meetings, and I was really impressed. And I thought, you know what have I got to lose? You know, I can either have this coffee and give it a go, and if it doesn't work, then I'll just go back onto the meds. So anyway, that was on the Sunday. It was a Saturday or a Sunday. It must have been a Saturday that I did it. Anyway, I'd already taken my medication for the day. So the following day, I just had the coffee. I felt like Shazzle, I'll have to say. I felt terrible. Tuesday, I felt even worse. Wednesday, I was feeling really sort of gross. But I thought, I'm going to persist because I know what this is like. I've been through so many meds and I've done a lot of natural stuff, and it's not going to work straight away. So I persisted. By the Thursday, I started feeling a little bit better. And my energy was coming back, and I thought, hey, this is absolutely awesome. Anyway, we went to Hilda's place for I was doing praise and worship in the evening, and I was running out, and I said to her, I'd ordered some, but it hadn't arrived yet, and I wanted a continuity because I didn't want to run out of this stuff now. Anyway, so she said to me, she gave me the coffee at 7 o'clock at night, and she said to me, my samples, and I said to her, I need one now. And she said to me, you're going to take one now? Because it's not such a great idea. I said, no, coffee doesn't affect me. I can drink coffee at any time of the night, and I'll still go to bed when I need to go to bed. Anyway, so she said to me, all right, so I had the coffee. Well, we finished at 10 o'clock. 10:30, I went to go and do the weekly shopping. And then I came home and I unpacked it, and I sat there at midnight thinking, what else can I do? And anyway, I only got to bed at about 2-3 o'clock that morning, and I felt terrible the next day. And then on the Sunday, I was absolutely amazed because for the first time, I woke up without any brain zaps, without any brain fog. And I just thought, hey, this is amazing. This stuff is actually incredible. Anyway, I have been on it now for 4 weeks, and I am just so, so grateful that I have had no brain zaps, and I've had no brain fog, and I've got my brain back. So it's really, really exciting, guys. And just thanks very much to Hilda for introducing me to it. So it's been a great adage to my life.
Well, that's amazing, Deborah. Gosh, it's so crazy to me. I say this all the time because my story is completely different than Sean's. Obviously, your story is completely different than Bruce. And then, it's just crazy to me how two little products can do so many different things and have so many different benefits for so many different people. The stories always amaze me. So thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that. That is like, those pictures are crazy. We are going to go to our last story of the night because we don't want to keep you all on here forever, but we do want to share some stories with you so that you can kind of see what the different benefits are. David, are you on?
Right.
There he is. David,
yeah, I'm here.
If you could quickly give us just a couple minutes of your story, we would absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks so much for having me today. I was introduced to the Happy Dose from Bruce and Jenny. So you've just heard from Bruce. They were great friends of ours. We used to live in Australia, so we got to know them. We had actually been involved with another company with them one other time, and we were with them for 10 years. And then we parted ways. They went to the States, we were in Malaysia. And then they introduced us to Happy Dose. And I'd always said that I would never again. I'd been down that track, and I was happy to just leave it there. But there was something about this that just caught my attention, and I really felt I had to just look into it. And I'm so glad I have. As they say with this Happy Dose, we can't make any medical claims, but it has affected me in 3 ways. And the first is with my aches and pains. Before I started on the Happy Dose, every morning when I woke up, I'd be just so sore that I wouldn't be able to bend over just to empty the dishwasher. And what I do now is when I wake up, I take my dose straight away, my Xanthamax, and then I go down and make my coffee. And by the time I finish my coffee, I'm able to bend over and empty the dishwasher. So that's great. Second thing is my energy levels. I also suffer from depression, which I'll share on, but because of the depression, I haven't been able to work in jobs where there's a lot of stress. So what I've had to do is take on a job as a cleaner. And what I'm doing is for some days I might clean for 6 hours straight. And so by the end of the day, I would be exhausted and I'd have to have a nap every afternoon. Since I've started the dose, I haven't had to have a nap in the afternoon. My energy levels are just so high that I've still got enough to go. Normally I'd have a half a cap in the morning of my coffee, and then in the afternoon I'll make myself a nice coffee, and then I'm just still got energy for the rest of the afternoon and evening. The third major way that it has had a big impact on me, and that's in the area of depression. Since the global financial crisis, we had 5 businesses, and we lost our house. And there were some months there where we had up to $30,000 of bills where we just didn't know where to go or what to do. And so that immense pressure that we were under during that time, and other things that have happened in my life, has just led to, unfortunately, depression. And so I've been on depression tablets now for 10 years, which keeps me balanced. But unfortunately, with that depression came suicidal tendencies. And some days I just didn't want to be there. My prayer at night would be, God, take me tonight. I can't do this anymore. I was in a really low place, and something that I wouldn't act on, but it was there. I just couldn't stop that from entering my mind. And since I've started on dose, and please, as I've said, we can't make medical claims, but this is what it's done for me. I no longer have those thoughts. It's as if that room that was there, that suicidal room, is now closed. That door is shut. And even if I try to go there, it just won't open. That door won't open anymore. So you can't put a price on that. And I'm just so looking forward to sharing this product with so many people that need it. Ex-servicemen, people with depression, etc. So yeah, thanks so much, guys, for having me, and wish everyone all the best.
Dude,
Wow.
that's awesome. Thank you for
That's
sharing
crazy.
that. Yeah, that's wild. And guys, honestly, I just don't think that's talked about enough in our society. I don't really care what country you live in. It's just something that, and you don't hear it a lot from men for whatever reason. We keep it bottled up and we try to deal with it ourselves. But so my hat's off to you, David, for opening up and being vulnerable enough to share that with everybody, because that's super real. And I think it's real for a lot of us. I don't think there's a family out there that can't say that they're dealing with this somewhere in their family. And who doesn't know someone who likes to drink coffee and wants to be happy? I mean, how much simpler can it be, guys? And so what we found, simply by sharing out of our heart for love for other people, because we knew there had to be other people like us out there. And Kim doesn't have a depression story like mine. Hers is totally different. She dropped 5 pant sizes over 3 months, but it was only 5 pounds. That was it. We were keto for 4 years solid before we found this product. And she still got those kind of results. So why is that? The anti-inflammation properties of that Xanthamax is amazing. And so look into this, guy. It's just as simple as taking that one capsule and a cup of coffee every day. It is that easy. And what we found in doing that and sharing it is this wonderful business opportunity that we've been able to go out and help people. And I'll just be real honest. We've owned a landscape company for 21 years. So I feel you when you talk about this whole COVID pandemic that's been going on and everything that's crashed people's businesses. But we've been able to work from these mini computers that some people call them cell phones. There's a lot of different things you can call them. We've been able to work from this and from our computer and actually reach out to people, share a cup of coffee that can change their life, and give them the opportunity to create an income from their home if they choose to.
And
go ahead.
I'm sorry. And I think one of the great things is that this can be an opportunity that you can create success at whatever level you want to create. So for example, if you're looking for something, a little side gig to maybe just help you get your product for free because you find out this product is amazing and you really just want to get your product for free, we can help you do that. If you're looking for an extra $300 to $500 a month, because what we know is that $500 extra a month can help relieve a lot of stress in a family. It can help a mom who's at a grocery store not necessarily have to go into the grocery store with the calculator and figure out which can of green beans she has to purchase. Or if you're looking to make $10,000 a month, all of those things are possible here. And we found that just from sharing something that has absolutely changed our life, saved our marriage. In a month's time, we will celebrate 24 years of marriage, which we would not have celebrated. I'm telling you, we would not be here if it had not been for us being introduced to this happy coffee and us just looking at each other and saying, this sounds like hocus pocus, but what if it worked?
Yeah.
What if? And that's what we did. We just ran with what if it worked, and it did. And so we have no option other than to share that with other people, because we know that there's more people in this world like us who people looked at and thought they had all their stuff together and they didn't. And somebody's going to get compensated for that. It just might as well be you.
Yeah.
So with that said, thank you all so much for jumping on. Please get back with whoever invited you on tonight. If you have any questions, they'll be happy to answer those questions, get you connected to someone who can answer those questions. If you need more stories, we can get you connected to lots and lots of stories. So again, thank you all so very much for jumping on. Thank you to those of you who shared your stories. You were vulnerable with us tonight. We appreciate that because listen, your vulnerability is your power. That's where you are going to help change people's lives by sharing your stories. So with that said, again, thank you all for jumping on, and just get back with whoever invited you tonight and they can get your questions answered. Have a blessed weekend, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Awesome presentation, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you very
everybody.
much.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.